Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Myself, Vaibhav. In today's session of Visual JForex, we will be completing the algorithm based on the indicator average true range, which can be shortened as ATR. So let us now head to the Visual JForex board, which has been developed by the Dukascopy Bank SA. In last two sessions, the development so far includes this instrument subscription where the default instrument is being defined as Euro USD, and afterwards we got this position amount defined at 0. ATR blocks were added. First one is of 4-hour candle periods, another one is of 15 minutes. And to look at the price volatility, we are also taking the help of get historical candle. This one is of 4 hours and these two are of 10 seconds to pinpoint the exact point of entry. These calculations have been done to set the conditions for the execution of the trade, which I will briefly explain to you. Again, for the execution of the sell trade, on the lower side, we have our requirements in place for the buy trade to execute. Now, we will need to define the sell trade system in a similar manner, and as we need our algorithm to be symmetric, the equal number of if blocks will be required to complete the sell side requirements, and after that this trade command block will be added. Now I take you to the JForex charting to give you a refresher on the conditions which need to be fulfilled for the execution of the sell trade to take place. The algorithm is fairly simple. We need last 4 hourly candle to have closed lower, and along with that we need the momentum to be there, momentum to be present in the last couple of hours, and for that we are relying on the ATR value of the 15-minute candle, and ATR needs to be greater than 5 pips at the minimum, and it can be anything above 5 pips. It can be 10 pips, 7 pips, or whichever value. As long as it is above 5 pips, the execution will go through. And as you can observe, when the time when there is not much of an volatility, the price action tends to be sideways, and in such circumstances we don't really want to get involved for the trade, and rather than that, we want whenever the price action returns, whenever the volatility returns, the trade should be taking place, and that's why we have added this condition. And the order will be placed closer to the last 4 hourly candle's high, and we will be utilizing its recent high. We will deduct 4 pips from it. For that we have already carried out the calculation, so whatever is the immediate swing high, we will be placing the order close to that. So now we go back to the setup, and we will have to place similar kind of conditions. We will have to take into consideration these calculations which we have already carried out. So today we will need one more calculation for defining the entry point. We will have to deduct the AMP, which is 20% of the 4 hourly ATR. We will have to subtract it from the last 4 hourly candle's high, and that will be our execution point. So I will add calculation expression here. We need candle 15's candle high, and subtract 20% of the ATR, this output value, this variable AMP. I will disconnect it. Okay, and this is going to be A1 minus A2, and this is going to be our entry point. All right, and I think with this regulation in place, we can now start to add the conditions for the execution of the trade. We already have predefined values. The stop loss and the take profit was defined in the prior session, and also this minimum condition that ATR value for the 15-minute candle needs to be greater than 5 pips. So that output value is already here, and that means our work for today's session is not much. This will be a sale order. Okay, so first thing first, we will need the candle 15 to have closed lower. Its closing value needs to be lower than the opening value. First input is going to be candle 15 candle close, and second input candle 15 candle open. First input less than second input. After that, we take this output value line 14, and line 14 will need to be greater than 5 pips. 5 pips we have already defined. So first input greater than second input. And now it's time to find the entry point, and the entry point we have already defined. This is the output. It's going to be 20% of the ATR below the last 4 hourly candles high. I will join it to the multiple action block. Oh, and we will compare SE with the last two 10-second candles. Candle 16 should have closed lower, whereas candle 17 needs to have closed higher. So whenever price starts to drop below this entry point, the sale order should be placed. That's the simple logic behind it. So I need candle 17 candle close greater than SE, and candle 16 candle close to be less. So first input will be less than second input. Okay, and all we have to do is join this trade command block. Candle 16 less than candle SE, sell execution point. Before we define the parameter, I will place these 4 blocks on the lower side. Default instrument is going to remain as it is. Trade amount I will change to 0.1 million. Slippage will be changed to 2 pips. And stop loss and take profit we have defined as per the calculations, and we will take those variables and place it here. Stop loss is going to be 50% of the 4 hourly ATR. So we have taken 4 hourly ATR, taken half of it, and after that we have multiplied it with the peak conversion factor 10 raised to the power 4 to get the value in integers, and that stop loss level has been multiplied by 2 to arrive at the take profit. With this we have also defined the input values, input variables for this trade command block. So our algorithm is complete with this, and I hope you have been able to understand the logical part as well as the execution part. I will color code it and check whether we have the iteration flow going till the very end. Yes, we do have it. So all the lines are coded pink, and once you complete this setup, I would recommend that you carry out testing on the historical data on JForex platform and see its profitability, whether it is profitable or not. And accordingly, you can decide to run it on your account, on demo account, or live account, as the case may be. So first, you have to test and see how it is going to function in the historical data, historical environment, and also afterwards, you should run it at least for a couple of days on the demo account to look at the efficacy. And this applies for any algorithm you develop, and it is going to provide you evidence on the efficacy of the algorithm. So that's it from my side. You can follow our Dukascopy Analytics page for further developments in the market. And also, we are present on the Facebook. You can follow us there too. And if you want to start trading, you can download the JForex platform. If you need any assistance of any kind, you can write to me in the feedback section there. See you next time. Till then, goodbye.